Hey, this is Jamey with Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in the game, the 100 Torii. A Torii is a gate, one of these gates that you've probably seen in illustrations from Japan. Fun fact, the person who runs this company, Eduardo Baraf, and I attended the same kind of university, the same program in Kyoto, Japan, back in 2001. I think it was 2001. Yeah, 2001. So we have that connection. It's neat to see Ed do a Japanese-themed game. This is a tile-laying game in the kind of the scope of Carcassonne, in which all players are placing tiles in the same collective area, which adds some really interesting player interactions just inherently. I think that's a really clever aspect of tile placement when you're placing tiles in the same shared area. Therefore, there's inherent player interaction there. And as you place the tiles, you are, so for example, say this tile is out, and I place this tile here. The paths are connected, and along each of those paths is this same icon, and so I would collect one water icon because these two are connected. I'm sure there's a thematic explanation for it, but it's more mechanical that this icon, the closest path to another icon of that same exact type is here, and so you get one of those tokens. However, I'll use this as an example. Yeah, this is a good one. However, if this tile were in between, so say these two were on the table and I placed this one, then I am connecting this water a little bit further away to this water. The distance itself, it doesn't actually matter, but the fact that there is a torii in between, one of these gates in between, means that I get to collect another, I believe, red and blue torii. I get to collect another resource of the same type. So instead of getting one water, I get to collect two water. There's also a blue gate where you collect a different resource. I think there are, 6 or 7 different resources in the game. This little mechanism, it may not sound like much, but man, it is so fun. And it gives you so many opportunities to feel clever. And through that simple mechanism, the game does a lot of other things to help you basically connect through as many gates as possible. And that was the game. Like here's a tile with a blue and a red gate. Throughout the game, as the tile area grew in the middle of the table, we were placing tiles that were 8, 9, 10 tiles away from the resource that we were targeting. Because you get to choose the resource on the tile. And passing through a ton of different gates. And so on your turn near the end of the game, you might collect 6 or 7 different resources, maybe the same resource, some of the same, some are different, because of the number of gates that you're able to connect through between those two resources. And you always have to go for the closest resource of that same type. And through that simple puzzle, that simple goal, the game gives you a number of other things that you can do. There are these characters that help you achieve that goal. There's one character, you can see it in the photo that I posted for this video. There's a character that blocks off one of these icons. So you actually place a meeple on top of that icon to block it so that you get to go further to the next furthest away, and the next closest icon. There's an icon that lets you place a tile over a tile. And others in that ilk, where you are basically just trying to connect through as many gates as possible and extending that path based on those characters. It's a little abstract to describe. I know I'm not doing a great job of describing it, but if you get the chance to play this game and you like tile placement games and you like feeling really clever in games, especially as the game grows and grows, this is the game. I mean, I felt so clever, especially near the end of the game when I was able to connect through. There was a turn where I almost connected through 8 different gates and just got a pile of resources and was able to do a couple different things with those resources. You can turn them in for points, or you have to turn them in for points if you collect a certain number. Or you can use them to activate the various characters. So yeah, a really clever, I guess, path building mechanism, essentially. Simple, very simple goal, simple mechanism that expands into a number of different options that you can choose from to achieve that goal. Yeah, so that's the 100 Torii. That's my favorite mechanism in this game. If this makes you think of another like path building mechanism in another game, whether it's a tile placement game, or another type of style of game, I'd love to hear about it in the comments, or if you've had the chance to play this game. I think it just recently was delivered to Kickstarter backers, and you have other thoughts about it. I'd love to hear them in the comments as well. Thanks.